Sega.
Fury of Arminius, I absolutely love it. New commander, well done, gentlemen. We're back, of course, live here at the ESL Studios in Burbank, California, joined by my good man. Guys, that looked fantastic.
Yeah.
So this is an update to the Barbarian. Or talk me through.
So this trailer showcased as we introduced the new Barbarian faction, and along came with that Arminius. Now they have a new kind of style, flavor, tactics to them. They're very kind of light unit orientated, very kind of quick hitting ambushes. It's all about kind of making the right play at the right time with them.
And so to come back to that kind of rock, paper, scissors element, they have certain elements that you need to factor into your unit, because if you choose to play with them, you need to basically find the best use of them as a class or as a grouping, so to speak. And that is all about mobility, because obviously the Barbarians weren't about heavy armor or something. They were quite rogue-ish in the way that they were moving. You personally like playing with them?
Yeah, so I've been quite enjoying them so far. I really like kind of using a combination of swords and axes, setting up some really kind of decent flanks with them, holding them in position with my swords, axes swinging in, going all frantic and frenzy, and brandishing the cut heads and everything. And everything can go very right, and you can cut them up, or it can go very wrong and you can get beaten down.
I feel like we're getting an insight into Leif's life here.
Yeah, exactly. There was a moment there where he said, we're just cutting their heads off.
Yeah, it's quite scary,
I remember
mate.
that you did say earlier, you said that the axe was your weapon of choice.
Yeah, I mean, I found out recently, actually, that I'm actually a natural at throwing axes as well in real life, so...
Sorry.
I'm going to move my desk further away from Leif's in the office.
I don't want to get off topic here, but how does one find out that one's a natural at throwing axes?
Oh, we all went out and threw some axes at a particular base.
As you do.
As you do, where you go to throw some axes, do a bit of archery, and it's something we did to kind of get into the mindset and the feel of it. And
fantastic,
yeah.
You heard it here first.
You know what, as well, just to come back, I don't
segue straight away from that.
I don't know
that we're not
where to go with
interested in your... Look, Leif, I love that you love axes. I feel like, that's great. But
sorry, yeah. No, I was going to say, Arminius has also got an amazing ability called Infiltration, which allows you to disguise yourself as the enemy team.
Very
which
cool.
Is really, really cool. It's kind of like the spy in Team Fortress. You kind of sneak in behind and then hit the button, and it's really cool to watch.
Very, very neat. Well, of course, we did promise you lots more action. It does mean that we're going to be going to our second map of the day, which is going to be Marathon. So I believe that we have, if we're lucky, a little bit of footage that we can look at. We can actually talk a little bit about what we're seeing, and of course about the map Marathon and how that kind of varies and how it's different from what we saw before.
Yeah. So Marathon was inspired by the Battle of Marathon. This is where the Greek forces defended the route to Athens from the Persian invasion. There's one of the big noticeable things here is the swamps. These are huge kind of areas of like long grass, low vision areas. You can be hiding a lot of stuff in there. You can get caught out.
And that really affects mobility. It's very important to say that those kind of terrains aren't just about visual or about just aesthetics. It's also actually your units move differently, correct?
Yeah. So like the forest, like heavy units, particularly in the forest, they'll move slower. They kind of bumble through. The light units, they can just kind of run through there. And what's great with this map is that you can kind of almost advance in a line, and you've got to kind of pay attention to the three kind of stages of the map, where you've got the high ground and the hills, you've got the central plains of Marathon, then you've got the forest by the beach and the kind of the swamps nearer to the bases.
So coming back to that idea that the commanders, our good man Lionheart, our good man Prince of Macedon, are going to have to be kind of talking to their team and going, right, not dictating, but they're going to have to be thinking what kind of units are going to fit to the game plan that we've got there. What sort of game plan do you think these guys are going to do, and how will that differ from what we saw in the first map?
So I think we'll see some similarities. There'll be kind of a lot of scouting with cavalry. We might see some kind of dedication to one particular side of the map, see if they can catch off guard the enemy team. Maybe some units moving along the beach, which can kind of often get forgotten about. You can quickly get some cavalry down that beach to the other side, bring them in the flank, maybe catch some artillery off guard.
And the other really important thing to remember is we're 2 maps in. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh, I don't want to.
Thank you.
I can hear Deman and Dogbert clapping from the desk over there. So without giving too much pride there, I will say that was absolutely the best pun of the day so far. So the game is afoot, and I can say that we've got all the ingredients once again for something fantastic. Let's see how the guys do it. So let's over to the good men they are, Deman and Dogbert.
Thank you very much. I feel he's been waiting for that one, like sitting on it for a couple of days, coming into this, I got this one in the bag.
I trust Craig to sit there and write puns all night. all night. On his flight over here, he was
I need to
there.
introduce him to Freak. They're both in Los Angeles right now. They'll have a great little time. But it is 1-1. It's all square. And by the way, I just want to point out that Leif, I'm also very good at throwing axes. I've done it myself. I'm actually pretty good. It's all about the momentum, the fling. I think we should have an axe off.
An axe off. 1v1 me. Axe off.
1v1 me, bro. But it is 1-1. Team Warcast on your screen there, up against Prince of Macedon's team, Team Murica. 1-1 all square. So this is really all about the beans right now. They're continuing to try and get victory. Starting out on the left-hand side, as you can see, is Prince of Macedon's Team Murica. And down on the right-hand side, that will mean, of course, it is Team Warcast. Now, as they just pointed out about this map, it can be heavily about this tree area, which we can see Prince of Macedon trying to get control of. Again with his heavy infantry, surprising a little bit there. This big middle ground just to the left-hand side of your screen, expect to see a lot of cavalry scouting around there. Could also get cavalry sneak down the beach, but there's also this hilly area on the top left. Now, getting control of the 2 towers is vital. It gives you such a big radius of vision, and you have to hold it. You have to hold it, especially on the side where Warcast are right now. We can see Warcast scouting with the distance there with his cavalry. They have to hold on to that, because if they lose that tower, anything in the swamp is open season. And that's probably where the artillery is going to sit.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's Alex Rambler with his cavalry out there once again. And he's gone for that early scout, but he's just... That artillery is just going to be constantly hitting them.
Macedon's put spikes down.
Oh, it's constant warfare now, Alex Rambler. And trying to get that early scout there using his Tier 5 Equites.
He got caught by artillery.
Yeah, he did. He got caught on the high ground. And you see, this is the thing. There's no need sometimes to do this early on dueling. Like, okay,
it's not giving you any information.
Forward. Yeah, but the problem is, it's been a kind of thing that people do.
Counter artillery. Some good artillery strikes there coming out from the Ongers.
Yeah, and you can see previously we saw Prince of Macedon. He's putting caltrops down in the woods. That's pretty much to negate that area of terrain for Warcast. So if Warrior Spot tries to use it, he's not going to have much success.
So Sunjetsu pushing forward. Casanova you just saw with Barbarians in the trees. Now, if these were to push forward, that's dangerous, because as we just saw, Warrior of Sparta, Prince of Macedon snuck forward and put some spikes down.
Yeah, caltrops. So
caltrops in the trees.
If he's not paying attention, he could lose a good amount of HP off his unit there. And yeah, here he goes. Like we're saying, trying down the beach, and
he's got.
Look at that commitment to the top of the hill, though.
He's got. So they're holding the swamp. They've got Jesse Cox with the archers just back at the swamp. And Prince of Macedon holding. They've put the caltrops down, and as you said, they've decided we're going to defend the bottom. We're going to push the top. We're going to go heavy on the top. risky play. Now, archers and infantry, but it's heavy infantry. Oh, no, there you go. He's got some barbarians to the left. There's a couple of barbarians. Yeah, they've snuck off to the side. Now, Casanova's up here. There's Casanova. Now he's in vision. This is tricky push from them. There is archers in the distance from Team Warcast, so I feel this top could be win and lose the game.
Kind of feel they've overcommitted to defend the swamp area. Constant Warfare here, just getting some scouting. That artillery is going to start flying in very soon, I feel. But I haven't seen much artillery like directed towards the infantry here, so that's going to be quite interesting. Are they waiting for the enemy artillery to fire to get that position away before they start returning
Constant
fire?
Warfare again destroyed. Running cavalry through trees, not going to work out too much, and now he's just going for the straight information charge, just trying to see what he can get. That unit is lost and routed, and you can see points-wise, that's almost give a 1,000-point advantage already to Team Murica, just sitting, defending, holding the line. Now, look at the caltrops ahead. Remember that Team Warcast was sneaking through that tree area. I just saw also, looking off to the top left, Indy Pride is sneaking up in the trees. Far distance, trying to creep around there. If we can have a look, you can see Alex the Rambler now pushing on around. He's going to try and get around the side, but he'll have no vision at all of this massive units that are sitting there. He's going to try and sneak all the way around the side there. Rear Admiral Cox, Jesse Cox, going to try and catch him out there. Oh, and look at the damage. Alex the Rambler, well, he's going to hit that charge, but he's going to get caught by another volley. He's almost lost that entire unit, absolutely decimated. And now that's given, what, nearly a 2,000-point advantage already to Team Murica.
Yeah, Jesse Cox was just waiting there. PrinceOfMacedon there defending him, and they had completely covered any escape point there. So that was just going to go bad either way, and a very patient start for Team Murica. They control the high ground up there, and the artillery, like I said, just is not coming in here. This is a very interesting start. You can see the archers are there, but there's no defense on them. Merciless is just going to cut them up.
Oh, he's just going to pile straight through. That is going to be a horrific charge. He manages to catch on. Finally, Bat Bailey's response. Mercurius will get caught out. That was a good charge from Bat Bailey's. Getting a lot of damage. Casanova's going to catch him in the back. Mercurius will lose that unit, but he did the damage. He took down the archers. And again, points-wise, it's still a 2K plus bonus. Enzo was going to back him up there, but he will back away. But this is exposing all of Team Warcast. Murica could just push up. They've got the archers. They could just push in there. Artillery will be firing in. Dangerous position right now for Warcast.
Yeah, I think at this point, if I was sitting in the Warcast and I was trying to decide what to do, they know where a big chunk of that is. They've already exposed a block which is defending. They should avoid that and push up towards the top and just try and concentrate right now. That artillery needs to be doing better than it is right now.
Oh dear, they're getting pushed. They're getting probed. And Constant Warfare, well, he's managed to get in. He's going to get some vision down the back there, but we can see this battle is all about the top here. Lionheart rambling, trying to get into position. He will get himself some vision, but their top is being pushed in so heavily. And he's managed to dodge. He's flustered, clearly, because he's completely missed it. Constant Warfare sneaking around the side. Oh,
surprise!
He's so caught onto Wobby Man there. But unfortunately, Wobby Man with heavy infantry waiting ready for him, just charged straight in towards him. And this is really all going Murica's way. This is not going well for Warcast. They've been just trying to probe and prod, whereas Murica have just come on force. Look at that massive units in the top.
Yeah, and that's all to do with just pushing out earlier. The Warcast guys are being a bit more defensive, and they're fighting uphill now.
Lionheart's going to try and sneak around the back of them, but yeah, there's been red already. Sun Tzu's going to back him straight around there. Sun Jetsu, I should say. Not quite Sun Tzu, just a little play on words. He's going to get around the side. But they are actually in a dangerous position right now. Enzo, he's just got lighter units. He's not going to want to go up against Lionheart, but there's the archers. The ranged units putting the damage down onto Lionheart. He's waiting to get in position. Now, are they going to try and push aggressively in the middle? It would be a mistake, and the artillery doing damage. Like, everybody's just a little out of position right now, trying to get those shields up, trying to block off anything that's coming towards him, but there is a lot of movement coming out from Warcast. They're trying to get in defensive position. 8 minutes to go in this game, and now almost a 5,000-point advantage for Murica. There's the artillery. Finally it comes in onto Jetsu.
And meanwhile, I think Warrior Sparta is pushing up with his light infantry over on the left side there. And yeah, it's Lionheart is sitting at the top, very much just trying to just hold the line while they push on the left side of the map here. And you can see that over at the swamp where they had a bit of success before. And you can see Lionheart now has to just back off. That artillery is all over them.
Oh, and here we go. This is down the bottom, so PrinceOfMacedon is going to try and get in there, but MMO Games He can't stand to fight it. He's doing as much as he can. There's a lot of damage going down there. And actually, with 3 units, he may come out on top. Now, Indie Pride, here comes trouble, coming around the side. They've got nowhere to go. They've got to push through Caltrops, and instead, it's going to be a straight charge in the back. Well, Warrior Sparta doing good bit of damage here. He's gone on the back. He's gone into Jesse Cox, but Mercurius, he's going to come around the side. It is a mishmash of action down the bottom here, but it is a Murica that's coming out on top.
Yeah, and Warrior Sparta, once again, not spreading out his infantry here. They're to one block, and it means it's so easy to just smash them like that.
There's one little unit right now for Murica that's snuck around, and he's about to start capping out in the back of Warcast base. Now, I don't know whether they have anything there. We can see it in the far distance. I'm checking my eye on it in the minion little corner. There we go. You can see just above the clock there, to the left-hand side of it, the capture point starting to come in here. They've snuck cavalry in. And, well, nobody from Warcast is ready and waiting to receive. Now, we are going to see Murica backing away from this one. They've lost the swamp control a little bit here. Warrior Sparta doing good job. Macedon slowly being taken down by numbers.
Yeah, definitely. And that cap is slowly but surely going to become a problem, but not as big a problem as the 19K in money, in points right now. But
they're backing away from the top. They are losing the fight. There's the back cap being cleared out. That's been wiped out. The top line, Lionheart's team, are starting to push in. They have a 6,000 point advantage though, so they have to try and do something desperate here. There's only 6 minutes remaining.
Yeah, with only about 500 men on the battlefield here, Warcast are at a massive disadvantage, 2-1 in numbers, and they're just being checked across the board here. And I think that cavalry might have had a good gun at the artillery, and you can see that, yeah, they tried to hold the top there, and they tried to push through the swamp, and that was just amazingly read quite quickly by the Team Murica guys. They knew what was coming.
Sparta has been destroyed, and you can see he's going to have to just be a spectator for the rest of this game, and it does mean that surely, points-wise, this is going to Murica. At the moment, doesn't look like it's going to be a total decimation. It's 800 to 350. There's not a great deal left for Lionheart's team. They're trying to push along the top here, so hopefully we'll get a look at that in a moment, because it doesn't seem the Warrior Sparta wants to get a glimpse of much else other than his death.
He's still got a bit left.
No, Warrior Sparta's going to try and sneak in there. Can he get around the back? The cap, they're not looking. They're not looking. They've ignored him. Now they've finally realized it. Jesse Cox is starting to move back in. They're like, hang on a minute, what is going on? They're going to try and sneak that cap. It's not going to work out. The cap won't hold. They're going to get a bit of points here, but that's about all it's going to be. And, well, and sadly, points don't mean prizes when you're going to get killed.
No, not at all. They're definitely getting the axe in this game.
Oh, God.
As you get, yeah, it just is. They got through, and they're going for the cap, and I don't think Jesse Cox is going to have much success in hand-to-hand combat against these Barbarian units, but he can at least stop the cap as soon as he gets vision, that is.
As soon as he gets vision, but this is still very tight, and you can see it's, a 4,000 point differential between them. Cavalry trying to charge through. It's Bat Bailey's that's trying to get in there, but he definitely doesn't want to charge in towards that. He's going to get around the side. Now, has he managed to escape? See, Warrior Sparta, how are they still not spotted him?
I think they know it's coming. They know.
Well, they see the cap. It's at 23%. They're like Shaq News. Please, somebody look around the back of this base. Look at how much they're drawing on there. It's like, for the love of God, get this cap cleared out. It's at 27% and counting. They're finally going to get vision of them. There they are. Warrior Sparta's finally spotted out. Manages to get caught out. While this is all happening, you can see it is Lionheart just doing what he can to keep them at bay, but unfortunately, this looks like it's a losing battle for them. There's a big cap coming in. 5% starting to clock in there. It's just simply a case of clearing out what is left now.
That cap is still there. Oh, there you go. Finally, it drops off.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 250 remaining against, 800 plus right now. This is very much going Murica's way, and it looks like they will take the lead. Mercurius just on cleanup duty. They have finally caught out Warrior Sparta at the back there as well. Looks like his Barbarians are not going to survive, and of course they are capping themselves. There you can see that cap being well and truly cleared out. Murica got this one in the bag.
They do indeed. And what I'm seeing is a lot of the kind of grouping up seems to be getting split apart quite early, and they start to become separated. And since they become separated, that's when this cavalry starts to really start to take effect here. Admiral Price with his lone unit of artillery and lone unit of cav. still a full unit of Cavs, still very deadly on the battlefield, especially at this point in the battle where everyone's took a bit of damage.
Yeah.
So a cavalry charge could be fully effective. But you can see the Roman infantry coming here with a Germanicus commander, and that's just going to clear up these lightly armored barbarians quite quickly. Good display of being able to get through a front line, which was heavily defended, and it did pose a risk quite early on. But yeah, the Warcast just unable to really make much of it.
No, unfortunately. Enzo's on the scout. He knows there's some artillery hiding just off the side, but he's unable to find it. Some GGs, I think, being exchanged. 2 minutes remain, but I don't think the game's going to last that long. Just 100 units remaining. Enzo finds out the artillery. That's going to boost them points even further. It does look like it's going to be finally over. That cap almost complete here. 40% and counting. The cavalry slower to cap. Definitely cavalry to sneak around the side there. Obviously, for good reason, they can creep around that back quite easily. Infantry do cap out a lot quicker, though.
Yeah, there was a key moment in that game earlier with Woodman here, who was using that wood as very nice high ground, defensive ground for his artillery. And Constant Warfare almost got through and almost could have took out the artillery, but the unit was perfectly in the right place to defend it. And with that, I think that's definitely the point where, because if they took out the artillery, they could have just sat back like, we know they're on the hill, let's just bombard
well,
the
give
hell
them a
out
massive
of that.
points advantage as
Yeah,
well. But,
definitely.
But let's not forget, obviously, the run around the side there. Jesse Cox managed to catch him with the archers. PrinceOfMacedon pretty much set up the trap with the caltrops, forced the cavalry to come down the side. That was an instant 1,000 points. And then also we saw up the top the cavalry. Basically, and that's the danger. Especially with these games when they are so tight, down to points, it's literally forcing your hands. It's like immediately, Team Warcast were like, we need to make a play now. We need to attack because we're behind on points. And that's because they'd used their cavalry too loosely. They just ran in, got caught out, got off guard. You think at the top, they were caught in the trees, just massacred out there. Pilars, archery, everything going in towards them. Sadly, no axes were thrown, though. Indy Pride, well, he's just going to lock up Admiral Price. Admiral Price, that is the last charge, I feel, that's going to happen for him. I don't think Enzo's quite got enough to break his morale there, but there is only 20 seconds on this clock, and as you can see, it's very much a solid victory for PrinceOfMacedon and his team.
Yeah, Team Murica do a very good job there, and I think there's not much you can do. And you know what, exactly, just what you said. You've only got a certain amount of units per team. Why throw some away for just some scouting, especially when you get nothing back in return? It wasn't like the artillery instantly started firing on those. The artillery took a while to start firing, and there was just no real gain for throwing away 2 units of cav like that.
Well, it gave them, I think it was about 3,000 point advantage so early on. Really, just reckless cavalry usage, and that's something that they're going to have to tighten up on a little bit there, making use of that cavalry, making sure they don't get caught out. You do need to scout, but as we said at the time, a little too early.
Yeah, but there's a possibility when it's a 10v10 team setup like this, maybe it's good to just go full-on blind assault.
Right.
Because if you give away your position, if you give away the fact that you're scouting, it's better. You know that if a team spreads out correctly, they can respond quickly. Well, not quickly, but they can get reinforcements there in time. So try and overwhelm as quick as possible before those reinforcements can come in, and that might have to be a case for Warcast here, as they are now down 2-1.
Once again, they are chasing Murica. We are in North America. This is the launch of the closed beta in North America. If you want to get involved, don't forget to get yourself signed up. It is ESL.TotalWar.com, TotalWarArena.com.
Yes.
See, now I'm questioning myself. I'm not too sure on that one.
ESL.TotalWarArena.
There we go. There we go. You heard it here first from the official community manager, James, giving Dogbert to you guys. Godbert, Dogbert, whichever one, depending on how many games he's won. Let's hear what the devs have to say about that one, though. The first time we saw Marathon.
Thank you so much, Deman. And of course, I will lean over to my dear friend Craig, who can, of course, make sure that we get that URL completely right. So let's just do that right now.
So unlike Dogbert, I've got a razor-sharp memory for URLs. It's ESL.TotalWarArena.com.
Absolutely. That's what you guys need to be reaching out to. That's what you guys need to be doing. And of course, we want you to get yourself locked in to get into the closed beta. Start playing the game. Start playing the good stuff that these guys have been cooking up in that Creative Assembly kitchen for you. But let's rewind, my selector. What did we just see there? We saw the Warcraft guys kind of having a bit of a comeback. And then it feels like they kind of now slip back. Talk us through. What did you guys see there?
Well, I think I've got to look over to Prince of Macedon's team and say they were just communicating better on that one. You can see the body language, you can see the animation over that side. They're talking, constantly talking. Prince of Macedon was laying down markers for his team, saying, do this, do this, do this, go there. I look over to the other team, I see Lionheart, and I see deflation, I see frustration. And I think that's saying a lot about how these two teams are set up at the moment psychologically, and that's going to maybe play a bit of a part in how they progress from now on.
Well, we've got a lot more games to be played, so it's definitely.
I've just written them off.
It's over. Go home. No, but I mean, it definitely is kind of what we wanted. We wanted that kind of back and forth that we had there, and we saw then, very similar to the first map. They just came out. They seemed to be quite cohesive. They seemed to do well, and I agree. They definitely towards the end, you could see that there was a lot more kind of excitement, fun. They were really having a good time here over on the Prince of Macedon side, and it didn't seem to be the case on poor Lionheart's team. How did you see that?
I think they're really going to be thinking a lot about what just happened. Towards the end there, they really started to kind of just tumble and lose units here, there, and Macedon's team took advantage of that. So it'll be really interesting to see if once again they can pull it back in this second round of this map. Knowing how that Macedon's team had played.
If they can learn something,
if they can learn something
out of that strategy.
But maybe both teams will kind of be mixing up their strategies as well. They're going to try and play that off.
Well, yeah, it is important to think that, I mean, each map obviously does, and that's the beauty of those maps, does present a whole new set of challenges, a set of things you have to be thinking through. And you will see that obviously the second game of any map will be slightly one where they've had a bit of a test run on it, so they get a chance to actually look in. What would you guys be saying if you were the captains of either of the teams? What would be your words of wisdom?
Oh, I don't know.
I would say just keep it together, stay focused, listen to your leader, let them guide you in what you're going to do, and also find a way of dealing with the players who are starting to emerge, the players who are starting to show that they're really good Total War players, Total War Arena players. Enzo's a good one on Prince of Macedon. That he's emerging as being a really strong player. They need to find a way of dealing with him, and they need to find a way of doing it fast.
There you go. It's time to start dealing with the players. And, of course, the guys that are going to be telling you about how they're dealing and how they're taking it through are, of course, the wonderful, the dynamic duo of Deman and Dogbert.
Thank you very much. So, yes, how are they going to handle this one? Because Warcast, once again, are coming from behind. They are literally 2-1 down, and Prince of Macedon again. Nice little defensive play. Now, last time, Warcast figured out that defense, cracked it, and managed to push on through. But it's a tricky situation that they're going to have to deal with. They're going to go from the bottom, the top, the middle, just push on through. They tried to sneak around. They tried to get the angles. It just wasn't working for them. Yeah,
I think what happened last time in Thermopylae on our first map, where they went behind for exact same reasons. They got careless of a few of their units. Then Team Murica, started to make the mistakes, really. They started to get a bit cocky. They started to push forward a bit more. Too confident in their own abilities and getting caught out.
We saw Mercurius get caught out in the hotgates.
That was a big one.
That's unusual.
And then from that, they started, their overall call was to all push back into the base and let's just try and wait this one out. And that's how they lost their game. So, last time, it wasn't that America played badly. They just, at the last minute, their nerves weren't just there and they pulled back and they allowed Warcast to win. So maybe that'll happen again. But like I said, at this point, if their scouting is going to involve throwing away units like that, they're going to have to change how they do that. And I got a feeling that might result in very, very aggressive play.
Well, Warrior Esparta, you can see next to the lineup, dishing out the instructions.
He needs to figure it out. Not blob his units a bit.
That's very
Come on,
true.
Warrior. We know you can do better than that. But the problem with him is he's doing very well with his units being blobbed up like that. They are very effective in the overall fight because they have fearsome presence. They have overall just scare units, and they can break that morale really quick. And that's what you've seen. He broke through Prince of Macedon almost instantaneously, and it forced a reaction from the rest of the team to pile away from the hill and come into the marshes. But by that point, the damage is already done. They were already so far ahead in points, let alone the player numbers. And let's see if they can get revenge this time.
Are they going to do the same? That's the question. Looks like Prince of Macedon, very much similar. Is he going to lay out those caltrops in the trees? It worked so well from last time. Caused that pincer move, and so many people. And the thing with caltrops is they are very, very hard to spot, especially in the long trees. No, they're going for the spikes you can see around the side there. So they're going to stop the cavalry basically charging around the side. That's the plan this time around from Prince of Macedon. so they can't sneak around. Although, ironically, that gave them 1,000 points. So I'm not sure I'd want to stop that.
Yeah. Well, that's the interesting part about
there you
this
go,
side.
Caltrops. You just saw him hit it, so he's going to drop the Caltrops in the trees there. As I was saying, basically Caltrops are all about, you know, if you were to charge through, if you don't spot them, literally your troops will run over them and it will take down a good half of those troops.
Yeah, it will do a lot of damage. The wooden stakes that you see Prince Macedon put down, they're much more dangerous and will completely kill our unit.
Yeah.
But they're also a lot more visible.
Yeah.
So the Caltrops are usually the more subterfuge in that kind of way. You can put them down, especially in frontline areas, especially for the Barbarians. This is their highway here. This is where Barbarian players are going to be going up and down.
I always push through there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's because you like to try and sneak through into the base.
Well, I'm
You're an aggressive player.
I was always through a spearman, that's why.
Well,
or
that's
archers,
another
Germanic
reason,
scouts. I was one or the other, which are not being used anymore. There's been some balances for those units a while ago. But Enzo on the little scout here. Constant warfare, just getting a little glimpse towards him. And that's really what Enzo's showing how to scout. He literally will pop up there and zip straight out. Artillery fire coming straight in, trying to find his position. Doesn't catch any horses, and instantly a reaction. And Constant warfare, you can see, he's taking damage.
Yeah, definitely. You can see they're pinging the artillery. They need the cavalry to scout. To get the artillery to fire, then they're going to try and push up here, and look how far this artillery is pushing up to counter battery.
In the open, risky play. But again, it looks like Lionheart's team of Team Warcast, a podcast, by the way. You might want to check that one out if you're interested in Total War. A lot of veterans involved in that one, but they're just trying to get some more information in again. They're not pushing too aggressively. They don't want to get caught out. It's a very tentative start, as we would expect.
Yeah, very much like our previous second round on Marathon. And yeah, that's just the case, especially when you got artillery, because you want to make sure you get the most effect out of them. And right now you can see Admiral Price pushing up with that artillery, kind of waiting to see where Oakley's firing from. And once again, there you go, they're firing up the hill. They have no vision up there, they're just firing blind. Oh, and that was a brilliant shot.
That was a good artillery hit on towards Enzo there. His cavalry taking a good hit there, but Bailey's is looking to try and follow it up. Look at that, you can see he's already gone aggressive. Tried to catch on towards it, good little catch. And now Lionheart pushing forward.
No vision for that artillery, firing it. Actually, it's interesting because they're firing on the top of the hill. The boulders roll down, and anything that hits those boulders will take damage. So they are denying that high ground using the artillery. Sunjetsu's
been spotted there by Lionheart. Lionheart's going to creep into the long grass. He will be out of vision. You can see Casanova this time using heavy infantry. Remember, he was on the Barbarians last time, light infantry in the trees. Not able to get control of those trees, and this time he's gone heavy. He wants to hold that line a little stronger.
Yeah, definitely, but there's a danger doing that, especially on the high ground up there, because there's a large chunk of woods. So if they get dragged into that kind of combat up there, they're going to be at a massive disadvantage. But you can see the Warcast a bit more tentative, using their artillery a bit better, but they are still behind in numbers, and I think that has mostly to do with probably counter battery fire coming from Oakley.
So let's have a glimpse over at Team Murica. Let's see what they're doing on the other side. We can see, obviously, Lionheart's Warcast defense is set up. They're getting a good little poke, but they are slowly but surely creeping along the beach. And that's actually going to go towards those Caltrops. They need to be careful they don't go rushing headlong into that. It looks like this time they want to hold steady on the top and push down the bottom. Constant warfare constantly getting caught out here. Sunjetsu spotted.
Yeah, they're not moving up altogether here. So Lionheart here is pushing up by himself. Almost completely, and that's going to be dangerous on the hill. They're just outnumbered.
So again, look at this, Prince of Macedon. You can see he's got the Caltrops out now. Remember, Warcast who are pushing through there.
They're going to walk through those Caltrops.
They're going to go.
They don't know.
Straight into those Caltrops. I don't think they're going to be caught out. Look, Prince of Macedon's actually staring at. This is Macedon's camera angle. He's just like, yes, come to
through.
me, you pretty, come to me. Oh, they're going to get caught.
He spotted them. He spotted them in the last minute.
Spotted them last ditch second. Now remember, they did it last time. Alex the Rambler was the one that got caught out as well. If he backs away now. Jesse Cox was caught out. This time he was pushed too far out of that marsh and was spotted. And now we can see overkill. They're already aware of these. They can take them out. They can destroy those Caltrops and won't get caught out by them. Meanwhile, at the top here, you can see it's a little bit of engagement. The cavalry have engaged. They've gone on towards him. It's Enzo that's managed to catch around nicely. Constant warfare in trouble. And immediately that is giving the points once again to Team Murica.
Yeah, definitely. And that's the RTK guys giving a shout out for a dig member there. As the just showing their prowess for the cavalry there. But you can see that Lionheart's coming in. So they're playing very aggressive right now, and they have to because they're behind in numbers. But yeah, they control the woods right now, but they've given up control of the hill.
Yeah, and that's a 2,000-point differential. Murica just holding, but they've got to be careful they don't get pushed too far back. While Mercurius is sitting, covering off his artillery on the left-hand side, they're kind of giving up the middle ground. Now, you can see Overkill. They're killing off the caltrops. They're not walking through them too heavily, although they have done a little. Lionheart actually might be able to walk into it. Oh, wow, Lionheart's down here. So that means they've really given up the top. If you look to the mini-map, there's not a great deal up in that top corner. That's literally Casanova and crew holding off. And now the push is starting to come. You can see Murica's starting to push in, but this is Overkill. Now, this is a very tricky river crossing here. You get a massive defensive debuff, but they're working in. They've got... is it Pseudo? When the shields are up, I can't remember.
Yeah,
It's attack to Pseudo.
Attack to Pseudo. So the good thing about that is it blocks incoming missile fire, but it doesn't block artillery fire. So it's a very dangerous thing. And you can see they're trying to push up. It just gets smashed to a 10k damage, 11k damage.
Lionheart just got wrecked there. They're pushing into the marsh, but there's a lot of units in this marsh. They're going to try and push on through, but here comes Shacknews charging out straight into Overkill, catching him while he's in the river. PrinceOfMacedon also coming over, and remember, Mercurius is waiting off in the wings there. There he is. PrinceOfMacedon makes himself shown. Lionheart's going to have to head him off with his general as well, straight in towards PrinceOfMacedon. That is the two team captains going up against each other. Lionheart with his own general as well, but he's going to lose out this fight. Enzo's going to get around the back of him. Lionheart realizing it. They have to back away from this one. They're losing too many units.
They are indeed, but they've committed at this point, and it just looks like, oh, the cavalry's getting through. It's getting in, and it's going for those skirmishes right now.
Such a close fight. There's a lot of points going back and forth between the two. Massive advantage for Team Murica, though. 12 plus K. They are landing. The artillery's actually up on the ridge. How have they not taken control of this point? They can't show. They want the vision of those trees. They're walking in blind.
They are indeed, and while this is going, there's the artillery fire though, and that was a great hit right on top of PrinceOfMacedon. But Lionheart, oh man, not only is he fighting against the tide of artillery, he's also in the stream, so he's at a massive disadvantage.
Good charge though from Bat Bailey. He's managing to catch PrinceOfMacedon. Lionheart's going to try and get around the side of him. He's got to be careful that Mercurius doesn't do a charge in his back, which is why he hasn't turned straight on towards him. They're still not taking control of that tower, so it's not really giving a great deal of vision. Lionheart continuing to try and hunt down where they are. They finally figured out the artillery are on the top. They are pushing along the top, but they can see they've got that great defensive setup. Whoopie Man is in a great defensive hold. And while they are slowly pushing through, but they're losing out. Units are just going all towards Murica on points. Well, it's nearly a 10,000 differential now.
Yeah, and I kind of got the feeling that they went on this very aggressive play, but they used it in a way that it was too predictable, and they could see it coming. And yeah, that cavalry charge into PrinceOfMacedon was great, but they don't need to charge into heavy infantry with cav. They need to peel off and take out all this cavalry in range. And right now, their army is a shadow of its former self.
Well, they're trying to hold off the top. The top's the one that needs to push, but they were outnumbered up there. They are still trying to push through the middle. Lionheart is slowly capping, but that's going to get pretty cancelled out. And you can see Mercurius' cavalry. That will easily be able to stop that cap. That's never going to happen too much for Lionheart, even if he's going to try and sneak around there while the rest of the chaos ensues. But as you can see, the marsh has been lost. Murica are managing to hold on to that one. PrinceOfMacedon's literally done this mash point on towards the rest of Lionheart's unit. He's literally just charging in for the sake of it. He's going to catch Macedon in the back there, but not a great deal going to come from it. And he's just trying to hold the cap. He's got more units coming in. You can see Constant Warfare's getting in there, but they need to try and deal with the artillery because that's just going to reset the cap every time.
Yeah, I think they're just going to go for the cap and hope for the best. Hope that some mistake happens here from Team Murica, but it doesn't look like they're going to make any.
So at the moment, Constant Warfare is going to move in. Now they're going to try and do this strength in numbers. Now it's still at 7%. That's going to go up quicker, but you can see Enzo's moving in with his infantry units. That's heavy infantry, so it'll clear out these spearmen, no problem. Lionheart desperately trying to click around, but look at all the Team Murica pushing back. This cap is not going to hold. Constant Warfare is going to get it back around the side here. He's trying to head off. This is a full distraction to get that artillery, but I feel it's going to be too little too late. And if you look towards that top hills, it is just a big red blob. There is not a lot happening up there. That is all very much going one way.
And you see he's repositioned his infantry, which were defending the artillery up there. So that means that cav that did break through is not going to find its mark in the artillery. Because if it took that out, it would be a big chunk of points But yeah, I don't think they've got time ready for it right now.
They've also got units on the hunt for the artillery. You can see it on the mini-map in the bottom right-hand corner. You can see it towards the capture points. Team Murica slowly but surely crushing Warcast's attack and snuffing it out. 10,000 point differential, and that equates to what? Oof, good lord, that's 1,000 plus team differential. Yeah. It's very much going to be a one-sided victory, this one. A landslide for Team Murica with 4 minutes still remaining. I'll be surprised if they even make that time limit.
Yeah, indeed. Well, they've still got their artillery alive in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, I mean, they pushed up. They did go. They tried to just overwhelm the swamp like we were talking about, but they just couldn't do it quick enough. And once again, like, they were just chipping away Team America with their artillery, with their cavalry, with their range units, and you know, by the time the Warcast attack really got outside the base, it was nothing what it was at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they were caught in the river, that was it.
Pretty much.
They were trying to push across, but they just pushed blindly into the swamps once again, and, well, Murica were ready.
And this is where the tactic of putting down those caltrops, putting down those wooden stakes, even if it doesn't do the damage, it starts to make you question your attack. You start to hesitate instead of commit. And with that, it gives the other team enough chance to come back and respond in kind with the correct numbers.
Well, Constant Warfare's just trying to run them ragged here. It's a lost cause, though, I feel. As you can see, they're starting to cap. There's a lot of units already pushed in towards the base. That was the top, and they've just not won the top either side. Not a chance, not even got close to winning that top battle. Now, obviously, the river does give them a slight advantage, the fact that it's further on, so it's slower to reach that top point, but you can kind of get there at the same time. They didn't choose to go for it. They chose the defensive start Warcast, and unfortunately, Murica took advantage of both angles. Yeah,
I mean, I'm seeing very predictable nature of Team America. They do the same thing every game, and actually, Warcast are the ones trying to do things differently, but they're not correctly identifying where they should be focusing. So it is looking for every time that Team America want to anchor their flank, they put Prince of Macedon, Jesse Cox, and someone nearby. So they anchor a flank. They're quite far away from where most of the action is. So that means that the pressure is always going to be one place elsewhere. So if you know that all these players are so far away, why not focus elsewhere and just try and overwhelm them? By the time Prince of Macedon turn up and his cohorts, the battle might have already been decided.
How do you spot the difference between a Total War original player and a Total War Arena player?
How?
Prince of Macedon's constantly drawing boxes over his units instead of using 1, 2, 3, which a new arena player would use constantly. It's very easy to spot the traditionals, but it is 3-1, and Team Murica dominate on Marathon, taking a clean sweep there and recovering from that loss that they had over on Thermopylae. Still plenty of action to go, but Jesse Cox happy with his performance. Prince of Macedon holding defensive duties for him there, the team captain. A little pairing of former captain and new captain working out well.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of looking at the score, trying to work out what was working and what wasn't, and I'm still feeling it's just that initial feeling out phase. It's just not ever really gone their way. And this is
they started off well with the artillery was catching out Enzo. They did some good strikes, but they didn't really have any information about the top. The bottom was very much a blank canvas for them. They had no idea what was going on there. And exactly that's how they caught in towards the caltrops once again that Prince of Macedon did. But as you said, it was very much Warcast on the attack, Murica on the defense. But it wasn't just defense. They were very much saying, we're going to hold this position, we're going to push this position, and it worked. And if Warcast would have held back any further, that top point would have pushed for Murica, and they'd have probably had to deal with it differently. But very well played once again by Team Murica. Let's have a word, though, from our developers and see what they have to say about that fourth match.
Thank you so much, Deman. Thank you so much, Dogbert. So that wasn't exactly what we anticipated was going to happen.
Not quite.
Talk us through that. What's working so well for Team Murica and not so well for Warcast?
So I think one of the really interesting things that we saw that Team Murica do there was they really kind of like rushed at the start. They got there, they moved into position. They got deployables down, like those caltrops, those stakes. They kind of anticipated the different paths that were going to be taken towards them and set them up to be in a good position for when the initial engagement began.
So by doing that, they basically, it was all preparation. It was all the strategy. So that should be quite easy to rectify then, or not?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they not only that, but they had really effective artillery play. That every time Team Warcast like trying to advance, they were getting spotted and getting artillery fire upon them. Lionheart took some really heavy hits, and it just kind of like weakened him, making him unable to really take certain engagements because he had less men in his units already. And seeing those them kind of advance, but not taking risks at perhaps the right time, moving back and forth a bit.
And I've got to say again, like, you know, Leif just said, the spotting was really good. Again, I said earlier, you know, the spotting is really important in winning a game of Arena. And Enzo was doing that again. He was out with his cavalry, he was moving around, he was identifying targets, and he was making it really hard for them to advance. And like Dogbert said as well, you know, Prince of Macedon's team, they're relying on a tactic that's working for them. And Lionheart now has to figure out how to unpick that tactic and what strategy they're going to come up with. They're trying a few different things. Nothing's working. They've got to figure out what it is. They've got to get together, they've got to huddle and work out what's going wrong, sort it out. Basically, sort it out.
Harsh words from
the desert. Really laying it to Lionheart.
There's no sugarcoating that. You need to sort it out, Lionheart. Find the problem, eradicate the problem, sort it out. Well, gentlemen, we are definitely going to be doing that because we're going to have lots more action. But for short now, we're going to take a very, very quick break. We'll be right back with more action here at Total War Arena.